Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, MaryAnne's Mystic Mentions. I'm MaryAnne. Grateful to be here with you as always, and welcome to my Sun Sign Love series. And for the new people, just a little bit of a definition and explanation. I like to pick my two sun signs and the compatibility or the connection. And I've been going around the astrology wheel. This is my second time around. This is the mid-month readings. So I do it in order for a little bit more streamlined with the first sun sign, and then I randomly pick the second. And I have been doing it just before I start videotaping for time's sake. I've been doing more repeats lately, and also the dice, it's a small little wheel and it falls off and so forth. So for the sake of time, the two sun signs for today connections are Sagittarius and Pisces. So I do explain a little bit about each sign, and sometimes it gets a little longer. So if you've seen your definition before and you kind of want to amp it up from, watching earlier in the month your other connection, because there's so many different connections, and so if this is yours, or whatever the reason may be, feel free to fast forward. But for the new people, I like to kind of do that, because I find that, yes, there's still people just learning about who they are, and the fact that it is just the sun sign connection, because the sun sign is the part of us that is representative of our personality. It's the sun shining and that vibrance we have. It's the energy. It's very related to our egos and what really matters to us and what we believe to be important to us at any given time. But as time goes on, we realize it really is just a portion of who we are. It is a 12th of who we are. We're many different signs. So if you're not resonating all the time with your sun sign, check and see what your moon and rising is specifically. But in relationships, those three will tell you pretty much everything you want to know. And I'm thinking I'm going to move on to the moon series and so forth. Though the same signs I'm speaking of, like today, Pisces and Sagittarius, in the moon's area, they have similar compatibilities, strengths, differences, but it's under a different category in the sense that the personality is the sun, the emotions and the soul, real deep reactions to life and situations is the moon, and then the rising and ascendant is about our soul purpose and what our destiny is a lot of times, how people see us. And of course the sign Venus for the two of you is your relationships sexually, intimately, whatever that is, and how compatible that is. And then Mercury is super important because that's the communication. So every one of them is very, very relevant when it comes to relationships. But sometimes people are perfectly content just on that surfacey, the initial thing and the sun, and yeah, they last for years. So this particular combination is a really common one I've seen a lot. I'm going to start with Sagittarius, and for those that are coming back, I apologize for repeating myself, but I will say it again. The first person I was in love with was a Sagittarius, and then he actually introduced me to astrology when I was 12. Ever since then, I've looked back at my history, and I love doing that, and who I gravitate toward, who my friends have been throughout the years, because you don't plan it. You meet them, you have this great connection, this great love, this great passion. And you're like, well, I'll be a son of a gun. There's a lot of Sagittariuses in my life. I love Sagittarius. Girl, men, all genders, just my son. And it's over and over again, and it's just been some of the most fun times of my life. So Sagittarius is the fire signs, right? And they have that drive right off the bat. There's this energy that you can't help but feel that kind of lifts you up, right? And Sagittarius is a mutable sign, so they're very adaptable. They like to move around, they like to keep busy. And then coupled with the fact that they are ruled by the planet Jupiter, that's just kind of a lucky break right off the bat. No wonder they have that kind of beautiful, uplifting personality most of the time, because they've been given this wonderful, lucky charm kind of life, in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, just circumstances, jobs come to them. And granted, they have some dark sides, and nobody's perfect. We all have our shadowy side and such, but yeah, some of the most optimistic is the key word, hashtag for Sagittarius. And I think you understand that if you're watching this. And then just that beautiful half man, half horse, strength and determination. And they have the arrow, right? That's the symbol. They got this arrow and they point that, and then wherever it goes, they're going to follow. And it's usually future. They're very interested in the future. They want to know what tomorrow's going to bring, what the grass is greener on the other side kind of mentality. Not interested in harboring too much regret. What happened today will pass, it's done. What else can I look forward to? Optimistic, Definitely the sign of higher learning, education, and they're known to be quite philosophical. And yeah, they're willing to continually educate themselves on all matters of life. They're really good at what they do in their life. They tend to gravitate towards, a lot of times, teaching, speaking, radio, TV personalities. They've got that, vivacious and very magnetizing kind of personality that people like to watch because it makes people feel good. And yeah, so they are definitely, though, not an easy sign to pin down when it comes to matters of the heart. And when they do, though, it's the real deal, because they're not phony. I mean, they're going to be real about it and brutally honest at times. I love that quality. But even myself, if you want to be told the truth, they're going to let you know. And they're not, they don't necessarily have the, how do you word that? I mean, the diplomatic aspect of that sometimes. They're not really used to kind of doing all the fluffy kind of things. They're just real. They're just true. And so they're never trying to hurt you. They don't do it out of spite. They just are true blue, and they make incredible friends, and they have a lot of friends, and they're really comfortable being friends, because that's something that isn't necessarily going to tie them down, right? So a lot of times in relationships, as I found for myself, they start out as friends, and then it builds into other things. They just have that more comfortable vibe with that. And I'm telling you, honestly, they're some of the most fun friends, because they're versatile, and they love adventure, and they love trying new things, and they're going to bring you along, and they're generous, and they care a great deal about their friends. Yeah, they'll be late sometimes. Maybe they'll show up. Maybe they won't at times. But it's not like a regular thing. They're just doing their thing, and they're busy, and they have a lot on their plate a lot of times. But yeah, very, very fun. Always want to kind of push the envelope and try new things. They're not really interested in the same humdrum. They've been known to have maybe several different occupations, but really good at all of them. And opening up new avenues in whatever career they pursue. I don't know. I can't really speak too highly of them, because, I mean, is that the way to put it? I think they're amazing. But what's really interesting, when I started this channel, and it wasn't that long ago, I'm still growing, and I love and appreciate all the support, because that's what it's about when you're doing this kind of thing. I've read for years, and I have my community that I read for. Of course, that slowed down. But this is another way I thought, well, I want to do this solely at one point and do this private readings and just connect as many ways and with as many people as possible. So it's a slow process. But those Sagittariuses, they're the fewest views that I get. I don't know why, except that I know. They're like, yeah, that's interesting. In fact, some of the best astrologers I've listened to are Sagittarians. Seriously. And that's that philosophical kind of higher learning and education in all realms. But yeah, they don't watch that much. So maybe the connection of Pisces can kind of, push that along for me. But so let us get to, and Sagittarians are the masculine sign. For sure, they have that energy and that vivaciousness to them. And I don't know, they're beautiful. They're definitely somebody you want to be around. Even, let's say, if this relationship doesn't work, you're going to have a friend for life. And that's rare. A lot of times when people break up or it doesn't work out, it can be kind of a cut and dry thing. That's not the case with Sagittarians. they forgive, and they're just so honest and real, and they don't hold grudges, and they don't want to be upset. It's just not their thing. So Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. Pisces is so sensitive and emotional. And they're the fish, they represent the fish that are swimming, and it's just going with the flow. That's not to say they don't have moods, or they're temperamental at times. They're extremely artistic, and I find a lot of artistic people are very moody at times because their feelings are so much on the surface, and that's a reality with them. Now, the water signs have this beautiful intuition about them, this receptivity of understanding people without speaking. They can feel the energy, and they understand what's needed, on that deeper level. Affected by water and the tides and the currents and, all the things having to do with water, I suppose, like the moon controls the tides. They're aware of all of that. Very spiritual signs, Pisces. Psychic, like I said. And what's really cool is they too are immutable signs. So you've got that combination in that link right there. They like to be moving and shaking, and they like doing things. So they would be really, really interested and are interested in trying new things and adventure and the fun that they find with Sagittarians. Always something new, always something to learn and try. And so that's a beautiful connection. They are a feminine duality. So you've got the masculine and feminine, which is always really nice because you want that balance within ourselves and with our partnerships. They are ruled by Neptune. So that's all about imagination and fantasy and creativity. Very capable of all sorts of beautiful things having to do with the creative world and music and poetry and writing and acting. And, the changeable part of them is quite interesting because you can meet them and talk about them to a person, and they'll say, that's interesting. I saw them as being this way, So they're adapting and picking up on the vibes and energies of others. Extremely good at, mimicking and, like I said, acting, being that other persona. The main thing, though, is I think that's really, really helping this particular combination is just the willingness to allow that Sagittarian to be who they need to be. And independence is a key part for Sagittarians. So Pisces, out of the 3 water signs, I find that Cancers are very much wanting to have that closeness, more of almost a possessive kind of thing, where it's just like, let's just live our lives and be more private. And definitely that way the Scorpio, more often than not, it's like, this is our relationship. I'm not going to want to share it with anybody. We'll have some fun. We definitely have good friends and we can have parties, but for the most part, I don't want you going off and doing all sorts of things. Well, Pisces is not like that. Pisces needs downtime themselves. So first of all, they get that. But they don't want to hold anybody back. They want to get along. They want to give. They want to nurture and take care of. But they give their partners, and certainly Sagittarians, the freedom they need. And Sagittarians do that in return. They're not trying to be double standard in any way. They're not acting on a double standard. So this is a beautiful, romantic, and sensual energy that's happening with the two of you. You know that you are going to be fully and completely loved by a Sagittarius, and they will go the mile for anybody. Sometimes too much, right? But they love new too. They love higher learning. They love adventure and new experiences. So what a beautiful combination this is. And just the only thing would be that the Pisces is sensitive, and they do take things personally at times. And when you have that brutally honest part of Sagittarius, who's not meaning to hurt anybody, but says something that might affect a Pisces. But once they know them, they'll know that there's no malice whatsoever involved. It's just genuine, truth. So they lay their cards out on the table, right? And a lot of people love that and appreciate that. And I hope that that's what's going on with the two of you. So that's a little synopsis about the two and why I think you have, incredibly great friendship level into what could be extremely strong. If it's new, you can recognize that. If you've been together for a long time, you already know all this anyway. I'm just reiterating what's already been established and what you've worked through, because it's all about working and accepting of each other and appreciating the differences and just loving, you know, and that's so important right now. And so while we're on the topic, I'm going to be reading your tarot and oracle messages that are coming through for you for today. Today's July 21st, 2020. And then the energies, of course, can go through the end of the month and onward. But this is just for the two of you. And I'm going to read under 4 major categories, which I'll explain as I go along if you're new. And to describe to you a little bit as I'm shuffling and laying out the cards. Wow. I have just been sitting here this whole time shuffling, and there's so many repeats this month. It's really interesting, but beautiful, beautiful readings. Oh my, and we're all needing it so much right now. So we're in Cancer season till tomorrow, and then it's Leo. It's all on, boy. It's that fire, and you can relate to that, right? Sagittarius, you've got that energy coming too. We had Mercury retrograde go forward, and that was in Cancer, and it's still in Cancer. And it just, I felt it immediately. I tend to do that, and it feels so beautiful because forward momentum, which has been held back for what? Long time, starting from the shadow periods, right? And then the changes of the eclipses, the super powerful new moon eclipse last month that was in Cancer, and then one we had just yesterday. So we're still feeling the effects. Cancer's about love. Cancer's about our emotions coming right to the surface, even if that's not our personality. Pisces understands that you're resonating and you've been feeling it for some time. Certainly the retrograde. All things were put on hold, and that's great to relax. It's, if you can, and you must try to do your best at that. Relaxing, reviewing, and all the things you need to do, knowing that nothing's going to move forward at this time. It's done for a reason. It's time to take care of ourselves, especially now with what's happening in the world. It's perfectly divinely guided. But so we have the new moon influence still happening. We've got Leo happening, sun season. A lot of conversations and communications were being deeply affected by a lot of signs. And I'm already hearing with my comments, which I love, by the way, that I just, worked out something with my significant connection after a couple months of having a really difficult time, but we've worked through it. That's what the new moons do. That's what the eclipses do. They take things out, but they also bring them in. And that story lasts for 6 months or longer. Then we had Mars move into Aries, so it's all about the energy, and it's definitely about passion. And Sagittarius is the fire, like Aries is. So if you're feeling more energetic, you have a really good reason to be, and that'll last. Mars will be in Aries till January of 2001. So prepare yourself for some pretty fun times, and to be aware that people are going to be a little bit more riled up with the energy of Mars and Aries. I mean, it's comfortable in Mars, but Mars is the planet of fire and aggression, that masculine aspect of ourselves, and, war, quite frankly. So maybe you're going to fight for your relationships, and you're just going to make sure that no matter what conflicts or challenges have come to this point, you're going to persevere, and it can work in that way. But I'm feeling a lot of beautiful sexual energy going on there. So have at it and have fun. Now I'm going to read the foundation. Oh, and so the foundation up until this point, this is like the catalyst that came before this reading and now, is the Three of Swords. Well, the swords represent the air element, and that's Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And, they're a lot about their mind. All air elements think a lot, and they really equate pretty much everything in their lives about their thoughts and how they can express themselves through words or some form of communication. They love to learn and to, connect with others on this realm. So they're not so much the emotion or the fiery action, but they're thinking a lot, and they want things to be fair, and they want to say things in the proper way. And that was stifled in the retrograde, because it wasn't just Mercury. I mean, we had 6 planets retrograde. We still have about 4 major ones, but they're the outside ones. They don't affect us as much. We have that slow down sensation. So yeah, there's going to be like a sleep mode towards their energies. But yeah, we were dealing with a lot of communication mix-ups, misunderstandings, or the lack of being able to even talk to the people we love for whatever reasons. Computers and technology was messed up in addition to all of it. It's been a lot, everybody. You just need to hug each other really, really tight, especially with this influence of love and passion for everybody, and especially for your relationship. So you were feeling it. You were feeling like it's past, though. This is a past, and it does have 3. Could have other people involved from outside influences. A lot of times this gossipy things you're hearing, you can't sort through it all because there's so much conflictive information coming in. That's what's led you to this point. But have no fear, because fear is not a useless emotion. That only holds us back. But beyond that, I'm going to read your other beautiful energies. And the first one is under the category of overall energy for today, specifically in moving forward. And this is the one that keeps coming up, but it's the Knight of Cups. That's about love. That's exactly what I was expressing to you. So you were clearly picking up, and you must be feeling this. It's the messenger of our emotions, of our deepest heartfelt relationships, whether it be your significant other connection we're speaking of, or your family that you love dearly. It's about Pisces, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio influences. But I just said we had a lot of influence with Cancer, so I think we clearly were all feeling that, and it just has opened up our hearts. And once again, you definitely feel it, Sagittarius, but Pisces being the water sign as well, I think really has been receiving and getting prophetic dreams that are coming through, which happens a lot with Cancer season. And once again, the eclipse in Cancer, and now this new moon, a second new moon. It's a beautiful thing, though. I'm trying to express to you how, even through the dark and difficult times, this is bringing out the transformation of love that's the deepest and the most incredibly harmonious and beautiful, uplifting feeling. And that's what you're expressing, and that's what the message is for you. And maybe you're hearing from someone you haven't heard from in this connection. And you love that. I'm telling you, more and more things are moving forward, and you see it and you hear it, but I'm feeling it, and it's actually happened for myself first-handedly, because I've waited like so many people for so many things. And I just had to surrender that and say, okay. And some days I do great, and other days I was just thinking about it a lot. I'm an air sign, So yeah, that's beautiful for the overall. And then right after that, you have the possible blessings or obstacles, and you have the 6 of Wands. This is the repeated one. This is victory. This is motion, forward motion. This is help from your community. This is communities opening up, more jobs starting again safely. You know what's right for you, and everybody's doing their best. And we're going to make it work, and it is working, and you're victorious about this, and your relationship is going forward, and there's fiery passion, which is what the wands represent. But they definitely represent movement, forward-moving action. 6 is the balance. It's about from the outer world, external world, but also internally. And you've got that person on the horse, and just the flags and the recognition and the hard work and the patience. Whew, I love seeing that for you. And like I said, it's come up a few times. There's a reason for this. These messages are very potent, very powerful, and they're beautiful. And they help to kind of keep us motivated and realizing we are exactly where we need to be in the right place and time. Now, the next category is under the category of love and the connection, or love in any realm that you want, your friends, your family, your children, your pets, your everything. And you have the High Priestess. And interestingly enough, that represents Pisces. So a lot of power coming through you, Pisces, because once again, you're very connected to this watery energy that's been very, very strong. But this just shows us that our higher powers, are connected at all times, which Pisces generally does just without meaning to. It's just, they're an old soul kind of a sign. They have been around many lifetimes, and they get that. There's always one foot on the ground with the physical, but always having some kind of connection with spirituality at all times, awake or sleep. They understand their intuition. They listen for messages. They watch for signs. And they're super psychic and super capable of sharing the information and helping others and helping your relationship and knowing when to move forward, knowing when to be at peace and to be still. And this is gorgeous. This is leading you to exactly where you are now, where you want to go, and having full trust and faith in that. I love this card, and it's not just you, but it is this co-creation happening at all times that you're manifesting. It's beautiful. It's love. It's genuine. It's real. It's powerful. It has the new moon, so that does represent the moon we just had. And so real intervention, like I said, in dreams is prevalent for the two of you. Maybe you're making new dreams together and deciding on going on your next trip, wherever it is, because that Sagittarius definitely has to keep that movement going. They got to keep it moving, and literally exercise is imperative for a lot of the Sagittarians because they have that nervous energy and that fiery part of them. So that's always recommended. There's a lot of ways to get exercise. So the last category is under category of finances, and I absolutely love it. It's a major arcana, which, by the way, this is as well. That tells you great information and important messages through that, but that are life-changing. You have the Judgment card for money. This is in your favor. This is positive stuff. And I think you're understanding what that means, because if you're in a situation like myself where I've been waiting for 4.5 months, I'm still not able to go back to work as a massage therapist, waiting with an open heart and knowing it will happen. Decisions have been made about finances. We've been waiting, and there's still things happening as I speak with the Senate and so forth. But they're going to be positive, important financial changes. And I feel like you're okay, but I feel like you've been affected. I feel like the Foundation card, which was the Three of Swords, which also, by the way, I did say air element. That's very true. You could be involved with people of those signs I mentioned, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, but also it has to do with money. It has to do with truth. It has to do with fairness and justice and the equality about money and the delivery of the money. And that's been held up too, but not now. There's a judgment that's been made. And a lot of times, if it isn't in regards to that with money, you're making decisions on how you want to invest, how you want to spend it. And you're being probably more careful, but you're also wanting to have fun, because that's imperative right now. And that loosens up those confining kind of constriction feelings. When you have fun and you feel good and you're happy and you spend time together and you take a staycation or somewhere nearby and you don't have to spend a lot of money. You devote that. This is beautiful energy for your finances. So I'm really excited and happy to hear that. I would love you to tell me if it's not happening this week. It's absolutely going to be happening with that fiery energy starting with Leo. So everything's full speed ahead now. And August is the 8th month, and that's all about manifestation. But I'll express more about that in August. You have some beautiful energies happening for you. And you can take them in and utilize them. You have free choice at all times. You may not feel this right away, like I said. Check at the end of the month. Review it again. Kind of, compare notes. And then let's go on to the other oracle messages that are really important and very, very, I don't know, like I always say, uplifting and encouraging, because they are meant strictly from love. They're brought from love, and they're really beautiful guidance for us. So this one comes to mind. This is from my deck called the Relax deck, and it's really just that. It's about taking this information and kind of sitting with it in the time you may meditate or walk or whatever your meditation is, but your alone time, to kind of reflect and calm yourself and allow the beautiful messages and the divine love from the energy of what I've expressed to you to come in and to motivate you and to continue giving you that faith and trust in how things are exactly as they need to be. And the next is the Wisdom of the Hidden Realm information and guidance oracle, one of my absolute favorites. I love that card. And then the Healing of the Angels by Doreen Virtue, because our guardian angels that I am in tune with and I speak with every day, I pull a card every day, it just really kind of miraculously kind of gives me the answer to specific questions I may have, and you might have as well while watching this. So, along with the first card, like I mentioned, under the Relax deck, you have, and I'm trying to remember, the pomegranate. That has great significance. The pomegranate. New technology and the ease of modern travel mean that inevitably we sometimes come across views at odds with our own. Think of them as the countless seeds in a pomegranate fruit, many tiny parts which together make up a whole, reflecting the rich diversity of all creation. Ooh, how appropriate is this for real time right now and what's going on? Remember, criticism generates discord, but tolerance and compassion create peace and harmony. And you know what? I made it very, very clear. I mean, the Sagittarian, outlook is about truth and justice, and they make incredible judges and lawyers and attorneys for that reason alone. And then you've got the Pisces that just wants to share love in the most incredible, caring way to others, to give, to continue to give and to pass that out. And to, yes, it's beautiful to have, but they're usually pretty selfless and they're generating that energy as often as they can. So it's really perfect. I feel like that's already an established energy that's been happening for you, and that's why this card came up. And then for the next Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, you have the Phoenix. Resurrection, surrender to change. It is number 29, and that becomes an 11, which is a master number. But it does break down. 11 is breakdown too. So that's that partnership, that love connection, that strength that comes with the two of you. Beautiful picture. The fiery phoenix rising from the ashes and transforming yet again, as we do our entire life from the time we're born, and this is no exception. And we rise into better circumstances throughout the challenges that may have ensued. So 29. The Phoenix appears as your ally to celebrate your journey and to ensure your ultimate success. This is true even if it appears that you've just passed through a metaphorical experience of death or are currently enduring a perception of failure in your life. Death and rebirth are related when you enter the realm of the Phoenix. Seen in this light, nothing truly dies, but rather changes from one ending directly into new beginnings. The Phoenix is consistently reinventing itself and rises up whole and new and even more powerful with every death it experiences. So it's not necessarily figuratively. It's, spiritually, and you get it. This could signal an end of a relationship or a dynamic within one, or an end of a job or a project or even a life. Perhaps no failure is involved. but it's time for complete overhaul of your circumstances. You may be tired of what you're doing, or you may know intuitively, of course, that it's time to move on and try something new. Okay, Sag, got it. Well, whatever the case, a death of an old and a celebration of new life are called for. Whatever you do now will indeed be a successful endeavor. For you, a rebirth is imminent. I love this right now. I think it's so pertinent and important, and a beautiful, powerful message for you. Just to kind of remind you. And last but not least, the healing of the angels. You have Archangel Michael. Well, Archangel Michael is one of my favorite angels, and he absolutely is there for everyone at all times. It doesn't matter. Call on him and ask, please, Archangel Michael, please protect me. He definitely caters to transportation. Be careful, especially with the Mars energy that's going to be very strong and prominent in Aries, because people are reacting a little bit more radically, for lack of a better word. It's fast. It doesn't have to last, because that's the thing about a lot of fire signs in Aries. They fast maybe to project some kind of anger, but very quickly to get over it. You know, it's a flash, but it can be dangerous when it comes to driving. Be sure that your cars are, working properly. And this isn't to frighten you in any way. It's just a beautiful sign that this is one of the things that I think he specifically dominates over. Definitely truth, definitely just overall general help of any kind. But the swords represent to me the quality of air again, and the element of air. So truth, justice, good judgment. Yeah, overall just love and compassion for all of us. Just feel free to ask, and there will be guidance given to you if you listen and you're still. The questions will be answered. So that is your reading, and I've been feeling so good about all the readings, and I love doing that. I mean, even the challenging energies can be worked with, and we do it all the time, but when it's being shown to you, you don't have to have a concern about that's absolutely going to happen. That's not necessarily the case. We have choices always. But I'm happy to read this. It's beautiful. I love your connection, and I hope you can stay strong and true and thrive in your relationship. And I just want to thank you for being here. Do like and subscribe if you do like it. I'd love to have you coming back. This is something I'll do, every month. And in the meantime, take exceptionally good care of yourselves. You matter. Enjoy your love. And until next time, bye for now.